Live from WTTW 11. This is Chicago Tonight. Here's Bob Surratt.
Welcome. On Chicago Tonight.
Artbeat on Chicago Tonight is made possible in part by grants from the Polk Brothers Foundation, the Lloyd A. Fry Foundation, and the John D. and Catherine T. MacArthur Foundation.
Chicago architect John Morris is responsible for changing the face of performance centers like Steppenwolf Theater and the Old Town School of Folk Music. Recently, he gave the 93-year-old Athenaeum Theater on Southport a new look that makes the building more appealing and more accessible. Fawn Ring has more on the Artbeat.
A Lakeview landmark has had a facelift. This 5-year, nearly $1 million makeover has given the 93-year-old Athenaeum Theater a more youthful appearance. A large neon marquee is the big attention grabber. A U-shaped driveway draws the building closer to the street, and there was no question about where to put the new elevator.
We had looked at all different places for the elevator, but once John came to the conclusion that the front was the best part, so it started as an accessibility project, became really a modernization, to tell the public this is a theater. The building never quite made that statement.
The Athenaeum operated as a community playhouse before Fred Solari acquired it in 1994. The building was structurally sound but needed renovation. In 1997, Solari added 2 studio theaters and created office space for arts organizations. He also reupholstered the seats in the main theater and modernized the theater's technical capabilities. However, he was careful to maintain the Athenaeum's classic feel.
They knew how to build a theater so that the audience and the actors could feel each other, and it enhances every production that's in here is enhanced because you have that kind of intimacy.
My impression, just as a member of this community and of the arts community, is that this theater has really become a very, very important place in this city. I wonder if you feel that way about it.
Yeah, I do. For some groups, it's a starting out place. Other groups, they've been around a while, and it's not. But it's a kind of a port in the storm. And so there's a lot of arts groups, 50 to 70 a year, that use this building.
So there is never a vacancy issue here?
No. There's usually something going on every weekend.
Slow down, baby. What's the big hurry? Where you going? Tell me what's happening.
For the past 10 years, audiences have come to the Athenaeum to see literally thousands of theater, music, and dance performances. In fact, one of the first things Solari did when he took over the theater was to help start what is now Chicago's largest dance festival.
Just an old sweet song.
I was at the Opera House for 10 years, and we presented the Spring Festival of Dance, which presented major U.S. companies, including Hubbard Street locally. But I thought then, the idea struck me that if I ever had the right theater, that it would be a good place to do a festival for the small companies that can't really perform downtown. So, taking over the Athenaeum, it was like obvious that now was the time to try to push this idea forward. And I enlisted John Schmitz to partner on this.
The Dance Chicago Festival is now in its 10th year, and John Schmitz is still the artistic director. His approach has always been to create programs that highlight a company's strongest work.
I would go to small venues, I would see dance companies I hadn't heard of before, and I would see a lot of good work, but I would never see a lot of good work for 2 hours. So the idea would be, in my head, was to see what would happen if I took everybody's best 10 minutes and tried to put it on stage. In the beginning we were programming companies, now we program art.
But that's a really interesting way to go about it. Right. This is not one night you have this group and the next night you have that group.
Right.
This is, you are crafting something that's its own.
It really is its own, and people always ask me, well, what are the companies that you have? And it's really, I love all the companies, but it's not about the companies. It's really about the work.
At this year's Dance Chicago Festival, 80% of the works are premieres, and a number of new companies are performing modern, jazz, and ethnic dances. The Dances for Kids 2 program, now in its second year, includes the teenage group M.A.D.D Rhythms, performing America's oldest dance.
John Schmidt, Fred Solari, they're visionaries. What they've done just to bring in all of the different types and forms of dance together, one that helps us foster respect for one another in the dance world, because a lot of times jazz is here, tap is here, modern is here, ballet is there, whatever. And Dance Chicago kind of equalizes all of it and says, just be good at what you do.
Solari and Schmitz are hopeful that the energetic programming of Dance Chicago, combined with the appealing new building facade, draws record audiences.
I think if you dance in Chicago, you're going to find your way to this stage in the next 5 weeks. And this is a great theater. I mean, you know, I always like to say that this is one of Chicago's best-kept secrets, the Athenaeum.
For Chicago Tonight, this is Fawn Ring.
Dance Chicago runs at the Athenaeum Theater through December 5th. More from the world of the arts on Art Beat tomorrow night at 10 here on Channel 11.